In today's tutorial, we'll be diving into one of the most powerful tools in Python toolkit. This tool is called Python Control Flow. Have you ever wondered how your code can make decisions, repeat tasks, or skip based on some certain conditions? That's what Control Flow does in Python. And this is divided into three. You have the if, elif, and else statement. You have the for loop and the while loop. But before we get into this, there is a concept I want to discuss before we head straight into the first control flow, which is if, elif, and else statements. I'll first want to talk about comparison operators. Though I already touched it in my variables and data type, just a quick brush up of some comparison operators, as they are some of the tools we'll be using in control flow. The first one I have here is greater than. I will just give some example. If you want to touch more on it, you can check my Python data types and variable tutorial. I talked about them in depth. Let's say we have 100 and the sign for greater than is this sign, than 1. When we hit our shift and enter, 100 is greater than 1, we'll get the result true. So this is a greater than comparison operator. The next one is the equal to sign. I'm still using 100. The equal to sign is a double equal to. That's the equal to sign in Python. This is not equal to 1, so we'll get the false as our answer. The third one is not equal to. I'll still use 100. This is the not equal to sign, an exclamation, and an equal to, then say 1. This is not correct, so our result will give us false. Let's use 100. The less than sign is this. Let's still use 1. We'll get the result false. Then we also have the greater than or equal to. Let's still use 100. Greater than or equal to, this is the greater than or equal to sign, 1. Yeah, this is true. Shift and enter, we get the true. The next one is the 100 is less than or equal to 1. This is false. So these are like the tools you'll be using when working with Python control flow. The first Python control flow we'll be talking about is the if, elif, and else statement. This is practically how your program responds based on user input and special conditions. Before we delve into this, let me quickly draw out the if, elif structure. Let me use a double line comment to break this down further. So the first thing you need to do is state out your condition. Let's say if condition, you put a colon here, then go down and ask your program to do something. Then the next thing you come, if it's having an elif, you come here and do elif. You can ask it, you don't put a column, you just state out the next, either you put a condition or the next thing you want the program to do. Let's say do something else. Something else. Then the last thing is the else. For the else, you have to put a column here, then go to the next line. Then ask it to do this. Now, how does this work? I'll quickly give an example and use it to expatiate more on the if, elif, else structure that I just wrote up there. So let's say Let's create two variables. Let's use this name. Let's give this person the score, let's say 30. Let's create another variable. Let's use this lovely name, Alma. Let's say this person have 20, and let's say this is their age, or these are their ages. Now let's come down and using the structure that we have above, let's say if, let's give a condition now. Let's say if Chika underscore score is greater than Alma underscore score, then we have our column there. Then let's go to the next line and tell it what to do. So if Chika score is greater than Alma score, which it is, let's ask it to print a string. Chika is older than Alma. Let's close this here. Then let's go down and just add an else. Let's say else it should print Chika is younger than Alma. So now, from this structure above, let me just explain what the if and else statement does. Now, if the first condition, for instance, is met, it should do something. That's to say, if, for instance, Chika's score is greater than Alma's score, which it is, the program should just print Chika is older than Alma, then terminate the program. That's how the structure works. But if, for instance, this first condition is not met, and say you have an elif, I will still give an example with an elif, the program should jump from this first if and go straight to the second one and test that condition. If the condition is met, at any point where the condition is met, execute that condition, print out the result, and terminate the program. That's just how the if, elif, and else statement works. So let's shift and enter here. As you can see, since 30, which is the condition here, is greater than 20, we're getting Chika is older than Alma. Let me do a reverse of this. Let me just quickly copy this. Control C. And paste here. Then let me come down here and say, let me change the greater than here and put else. And let's see what happens. Because this condition, the first condition is not met, it will jump straight to this second condition and print Chika is older than Alma. Let's shift and enter and see. Yeah, as you can see, it didn't execute the first if. Rather, it jumped to the second line where we have the S and gave us this result. What I'll do next, I want to add more conditions. Let's use the elif. So let's come under, let's add this name. Let's call this person Damian. Let's give Damian the same score as Chika. Let's give Damian 30. Let's shift and enter and go to the next cell. Now I want to use the if, elif, and else statement. So the first thing I want to do is, let's say if Chika underscore score is less than Alma underscore score, we want it to print, same condition we had up there, print Chika is older than Alma. Then let's come down and do an elif. Elif, you don't need to do anything, you just need to state what you want, the condition. Elif Damian underscore score, let's say is equal to Alma's underscore score. What should it do? Print Damian's age is same as Alma. Then let's come down and drop the last, which is the else. Let's say else, we want it to print print Alma is older than Chika. So let's close this. Now we give Chika the score 30, we give Alma 20, and we give Damian 30. Now the first condition here, Chika's score is 30. We are saying if Chika's score is less than 20, which is not, the Python should give us the result Chika is older than Alma. This first condition is not going to be met, definitely. Then let's check the second result. Elif Damian's score is equal to Alma. Damian's score is not equal to Alma because Damian is having 30 while Alma is having 20. So what we should be expecting is this last else here. This should give us Alma is older than Chika. So let's shift enter and see. So as you can see, this is what we're getting. So definitely at any point where the condition is met, that's the result. Your Python if elif statement gives you result. So let me introduce a new concept called nested if and the Python input function. Now the nested if is used to have an if statement inside another if statement. Let's call this nested if. This is simply when you have an if statement inside another one. Then we also have another function. It's called the input function. I just want to use these two concepts to break down more on the if, elif, and else in Python. The input function lets your program interact with the users by asking for input. So the examples I'm going to be using now is going to ask the user to input either number or text, but in this context it's going to be inputting numbers. I'll show you how this works. So let's say we have a variable number and we'll say this number is, let me introduce the input function. It's an integer. This is how you use the input function. So we want to ask the user to enter a number. Then you close this, then you close this, then come under. Our first if statement is if the number, which is our variable here, is greater than or equal to 0. This is our condition. We'll create another if statement inside, which is the nested if. We'll now say if number is equal to 0. You know, this is the equal to sign when I discussed about comparison operators. Then let's tell it what we want. We want it to print number is 0. Here, let's say else. Let's ask it to print number is positive. Then let's come under here. Let's say else. Then let's ask it to print number is negative. Let me break this down. So I just introduced two new concepts here now in Python. The first is what is called the nested if. So you have your first if statement, then you have another if statement inside this, nested inside this particular if statement. Then I introduce a function called the input function. This allows you get a prompt from Python to either enter a number or a string. But in this case, since we are using input, we want it to enter an integer. So what will this program do? Now, the first if number is greater than 0, the first thing is this prompt here will ask you to enter a number. If you enter a number and that number is greater than 0, that means this first condition has been met. So Python will come inside this second if statement and check again, is the number equal to 0? If it's equal to 0, it will just come here and print number is 0. If the number is not equal to 0, Python will come to this else statement and print number is positive. But let's say in a situation where this if statement, you give it a number that is less than 0. This condition is not met. So Python will not have the right to come inside this nested if. Rather, it will just come to this else statement and print number is negative. Let's shift and enter and see what happens. So we have a prompt now. Let's say we enter 7, which is greater than 0. So since 7 is greater than 0, Python is going to enter here. But is 7 equals to 0? No. Since 7 is not equals to 0, Python will just come to this else and give us number is positive. Let's press enter and see if we get that. You see, number is positive. What if, let's rerun the program again, shift and enter. Let's say -2 or -3. So this condition, this first condition here is not met. So Python is just supposed to come under here and print number is negative. So let's shift and enter. Let's enter, sorry. So you see, number is negative. So this is how the Python if, elif, and else works in the nutshell. Now you know how to make your code think and respond based on conditions in Python. This is it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next tutorial where I'll be talking about Python loops, for and while loop. Thanks for watching.